Hi, this is János, this is Real World Audio, and today we have something really special. Uh, as you see, we are sitting with Grande, these wonderful little speakers, and, and yes, I had my colleagues come and see them, and the comments are getting, "Those are huge speakers," and no, they're baby speakers just on tall stands, but that's what people who are not used to loudspeakers think that they are huge, because nowadays the norm is these tiny bookshelves that you can, hide behind whatever, wherever you want to hide them. And and I had another friend, my or IT specialist Hazel, come in, and she said her first words were like, "Ah, you are one of those audiophiles." That was her first reaction. So sadly, we haven't had time to listen to them. During daytime, it's really busy work, but now I am after hours. It's a little bit quieter. I turned on the lights. That's why we don't have that eerie green cast, that green glow that comes from the outside sun during daytime. So it doesn't look like a Frankenstein B movie type of thing. Maybe some of you missed that. I think my voice is too loud because I'm seeing that my microphone goes to overdrive. So let me adjust the input level a bit. Hopefully now it's a little bit better, right? Maybe it's too quiet now. Hey, let's bring it up. Yes, maybe we'll be fine now. Anyway, we shall see. Let me know what you think of the sound. So anyway, I'm not watching, there's my camera up there, but usually I'm just looking here at the screen and looking at all the stats, making sure the thing is still running, microphone not clipping. I don't have a crew with me, I'm just myself, so I'm trying to make this little thing work so it won't look like a five-star premiere Hollywood movie or something that you get from channels where people work full time and they employ a cast to have everything, like a show. This is not a show, this is an educational thing, right? That you are getting. Anyway, I was taking a really long with this funny update. Probably it doesn't matter at all. You see, I'm just tired. I completely zoned out of my head, super exhausted. That's when I'm funny like that, right? And you see, I'm living on tea. And, um, and anyway, uh, when you look at what we have behind, this is something really awesome. Gerald has put together a list of drivers, actually two sets of list for drivers. This is the drivers that people have used for Le Petit and La Grande, and 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 he also put together a second list that we have seen before, which might be like a higher end drivers, and he was wondering which one we could use in La Grande to step up from what we have inside them, which is this wonderful Fostex FF125WK. So I'm looking there because even though you see that sheet right there in front of you, for me it's on my other monitor, so if I want to see it I have to look over there. So that this is what it is. So we have this driver, the FF125WK. That's the one that I built the Lagrande around. And here you see, maybe you don't see because my head is just bloated all over the screen. So let's try to shrink it down. 1, 2, 3. How was that for a special effect? So anyway, now we can see the comments there, and he made two groups here. One of them was for Le Petit. Can you see it? Oh, you can see it. So let me just move it tiny bit. Oh, you see that? So now you can see that the top row is for those drivers, which, oh, here. So these are the ones for Le Petit, and these, most of them were tested there, and there were two of them, this Tank Band W4 1879 and the Fostex 108 Sigma, which were highly rated and highly acclaimed. And who tried out the Sigma? So if you go to Jürgen's channel, I am mad, that's his channel, I always refer to him, but you haven't seen me showing his channel, just posting the links to him before. Now I have gone this crazy high tech, so I can show his channel directly. So you go to his home channel. Let me just move it a little bit so you see more of the channel there and less fluff. So there you go. But when you do this to someone's channel, you only see 5 videos. Did Jürgen make 5 videos and then he died or what? No, that's not the answer. You click on videos tab and then we find out that he made a lot of videos, not just 5. And that's same, it's true for every channel. So whenever you click on someone's channel, always click on the videos tab, because that's when you will see all of the videos. It's same if you click on my channel, then you will see 5 videos. If you click on the videos, you will see over 1000 videos that you can scroll through and watch. So basically, let's find which was the one that he compared. Oh, I don't see that video here. You know why? Because he posted that FE108 experience in his German language channel. He has 2 channels, 2 mirror channels. One of them, I am mad, that's the English language, and the I am mad, so I am together, mad. We click on that now, like that, spelled like that. That's the German language channel. So these videos are in German, and then you can put on the closed caption, put on auto translate, and you can still enjoy them. And here we also click on videos, and then you will see all of these videos. And just look at that. He has like crazy high counts, like views on his videos. And when you go to the English language, it's just like barely anyone watching. I have no idea what's going on here. It's like even though like internationally there's like billions of people speaking English to some degree at least, and there should be like a large number of audiophiles, and their interest in actually doing something is completely negligible, minuscule, laughable compared to the interest of people who speak German, who are interested in doing actually something in audio. So anyway, there's this video here, the Humme Teil 3. So the third part of the Humme, and there we linked there Fostex FA 108 Sigma. Okay, I had to say it in English. So how does it sound? So in this video, that's where he shares about this driver, and I think that's where Gerald got the idea that this driver is really well acclaimed in not just Le Petit, but also the Humain, which is the Bumblebee, which is Jürgen's version on it. So the story goes that there was, let me see here. So if we scroll down, these videos down here are Jürgen's tutorial on how he made these speakers, which are these ones, which are Jean Hiraga's Le Petit speakers. And if you don't know who Jean Hiraga is, probably you have been living under a rock if you are an audiophile. And well, anyway, I think if you know who Jean Hiraga is, then that's really fantastic. If you don't, that's kind of like not knowing who Watson and Crick is in the history of molecular biology, or mm, or like who like Abraham Lincoln is if you are interested in the history of the United States. So that kind of lack, if you don't know about him is, anyway, you see, I'm just really uh not here that much, really tired, I would say. But anyway, let's try to stick to the topic on hand, and which is the Le Petit loudspeaker that Jürgen was so happy with, and we've been discussing a lot about it, and Monsieur Hiraga also contacted me, so I'm also had some discussions with him about it as well, and he shared ideas with me, and we decided to give a little spin on it, so how we would envision like a current version, like a 21st century Le Petit. And uh, and so what we decided to do is to build another take on it. So my take was Legrand, and Jürgen's take was the Hummel, the bumblebee. And uh, and actually he tried out that driver, the 108 Sigma, in both the Le Petit and the bumblebee, and he reported that it's like a really much higher level of refinement than what the little Fostex drivers can bring to the table. So that is one thing. So that's one upgrade option, to go for the 108 Sigma, and that would work in the La Grande as well. However, we have to check on thing, because for La Grande I did something unexpected, as they would say in Lord of the Rings, when the hobbits have found the ring, right? Because in the world of loudspeaker design there are rules and things that you follow, and some rules that you should not break, because it will result in big problems. One of these rules is that you don't want to put the driver equidistance from the sides and the top. You see, let's just, okay, so I adjusted my screen, and previously I have shared that the driver, I just okay, so this thing is mirror image, so what I'm showing with my left, it shows up to me on the screen on the right. So I'm just really, okay, so here is the driver, and the distance from here, the distance from there, and the distance to the top is the same, 17.3 centimeters. And why is that? That was not done as a mistake, as an error, but it was deliberately done. Why was that? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at it, not at Firefox Google's homepage, but let's just look up the FF125WK, the Fostex driver. Let's see, Medisound. Okay, they will have the datasheet. So this is the driver I used, and the datasheet PDF, but okay, there we got it. So this is what I wanted to show. Let's just enlarge it. Where did we go? Oh, here we go. So this is the frequency curve, the frequency response of the Bear driver. And as you see, look at that, at 2 kilohertz, there's a big trough. Like it is kind of like even response here, and then you see that it's kind of flat. There's a little bit of beep 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 whizzes all around, but it's reasonably flat. Except at the 2 kilohertz there's a dip. It's kind of like there is something missing there. So it means that the energy output of the drivers at this frequency suffers. And how much does it suffer? Well, it's about like a 5, 6, 7 dB hole there. So what can you do with that hole? if you want to fill it up with electronic compensation, what you can do, either you add DSP and you add 5-6 dB there, but then it becomes something much more complex. It's not just a speaker, but you have to buy a DSP or build a DSP crossover for it. If you have one, good for you, but I would say 8 people out of 10 don't have one. And if you have to build your speakers, build DSP for it and go for that just complicates the task way more. And maybe maybe it will not take you to that direction you want to, because if you want to affect anything in the mid-range, it will show up a lot. And if your DSP is not really high level, you will hear it with these speakers, because when I recommended first these speakers, and also when Monsieur Hiraga recommended Le Petit, he also issued a very cautionary warning that if your system is not very high level, you are going to hear all the problems in the mid-range with the Le Petit and also with La Grande as well. And it's not because La Grande sucks, but because La Grande does not hide anything in the mid-range. And if you have problems, you will hear the problems, but you will also hear, if your system is good and clear, you will really hear that it shines like maybe like you never heard it shine before. But that really depends on your speakers. So long story short, how can I make this nastiness, this gap around 2 kilohertz disappear? Very easy, with an acoustic solution. And the distance here for the driver, that distance there, that corresponds to 2 kilohertz. So what I am doing is that I have the driver that is mounted behind the faceplate. And basically the faceplate, the baffle of the driver, is acting as horn loading for the driver, as a very shallow waveguide. And the way I did it has a very narrow, most effective range around the 2 kilohertz bandwidth, and it's centered around 2 kilohertz quite narrowly. And actually, does it work? Yes, it works. And when I did an SPL measurement, a frequency measurement with it on axis, about 20 centimeters away from the driver, so like really getting what's coming from the driver, not counting the room reflection, so like really the direct stuff that I'm getting. So I'm not measuring my room, but the speakers there. At 2 kilohertz, the whole region, like between 1 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz, was absolutely ruler flat. What was coming out from the driver. So yes, this worked. But what does that mean? That this type of driver mounting, if you put another driver to the same place, it will do the same thing. At 2 kilohertz, it will give you a little extra. And if your driver there doesn't have this hole, then you will hear it as a plus at the 2 kilohertz range. So this is something that we have to look at when we want to put in a different driver. And when we look at the driver's output, then we have to look, how does that 2 kilohertz look like? If and if there's no hole there, but it's flat, or even worse, it has a hump, then we really have to drastically change the location of the driver on the front of the cabinet. Or even it would not work well with this width of front baffle. It would be just overly mid-rangey, and the 2 kilohertz region would be just overly represented and not give us an unbalanced sound, and that's something that we don't want. So Gerald's idea was maybe to go for a really high quality driver, to go for the Sonido SFR 200A. So what is this driver? Let's have a look at it. So this is the manufacturer's datasheet for this driver, and this is really a phenomenal driver. Sonido is a Hungarian company, and look at that, this driver is an 8-inch full range driver with a visor cone and a wooden face plug, and it has a ribbed cone and paper cone and the ribbed surrounds and paper cone and Alnico magnet and cast aluminum frame and edge wound copper voice coil. And it is not just any driver, it is the closest thing to a traditional, to a vintage Telefunken driver or Telefunken driver that you could get. It is built with the same recipe. It uses the same paper that the Telefunken drivers used. So if you are loving that vintage tone, you love Altec speakers sound, Altec drivers sound, the classic JBLs, Telefunkens, Goodmans, and of course most of them are just either unavailable or too rare or too expensive, but you can get that kind of sound with Sonido for almost a laugh of a price in comparison to those elusive brands, and also in comparison to current high-end. These Sonidos are ridiculously cheap and also ridiculously good. However, sadly, this would not work very well with Legrand because it wants to see a much bigger cabinet. So you see the VAS parameter is 60 liters. It wants to see a cabinet that's at least twice the size, twice the volume of Legrand. What it will mean that if we put this driver in this cabinet, then we will lose bass, a lot of bass output, and we won't have deep bass. We would have mid bass, upper bass, and mid-range and the rest of it, but no deep bass. So we have to look for another Sonido driver to work in the Legrand. And is there such a driver? Let's find it out at the next episode. So please like, subscribe, have an awesome day, and you can give me or get me a cup of Buy My Coffee or tea as I call it, and I'm not saying this to Gerald because Gerald has already been supplying me with a steady stream of virtual coffees. Danke sehr, Gerald. And so this is just as a fun thing that helps the channel, helps the cats, Kintaro and Machiko, supplies them with cat food, really awesome cat food. And I'm saying that I know I promised that I translate all your donations into audio and into the channel, but Gerald, he kindly offered that I can use his donation to get the cat's treats, and that's what I did last week, and we will also soon see the results of that. So thank you, bye bye.